Going on, everybody? It's Dan back with another Moonshine talking. Figure I start off with my normal mindless blather and babbling. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good one. It's Friday night here in Florida. It's a balmy one out there. It's the end of my weekend. Back to work tomorrow, which is always fun. But yeah, it's been cool. It's been a decent week for the most part. Threw out my back last weekend, lifting improperly, so I was rehabbing that for most of the week. But continued to work out and just kept soldiering on, just doing that. Oh, that's funny. I don't know if anyone's seen me. I don't know if I've worn this on the channel or not, but I have a Dio beanie, and I lost the damn thing last week. I was at the grocery store doing my shopping, and I had it in my back pocket. And then at some point, I must have dropped it between leaving the building and getting my truck. And so that sucks. I've had that thing for a long time. And even though I was going to retire it, it was one of those things where it was like, well, that's kind of not how I wanted to retire it. So that's why I'm wearing the hat occasionally. But yeah, that sucked. Then another thing that sucked is for all the old school wrestling fans that watch my channel, watch the videos and everything, are familiar with my background. The Tampa Sportatorium is being set to be demolished coming up here pretty soon. Apparently, that whole block where it's on, I want to say it's 106 North Albany is the street address. I'm probably getting that wrong, but it's down there on Albany Avenue in closer to downtown Tampa, and that place it's historic. I mean, Championship Wrestling from Florida, I should say. That hosted for decades some of the greatest wrestling in the history of the business. It was started by a guy named Cowboy Luttrell. It eventually got taken over by Eddie Graham, and he ran Florida forever. He was at one point an affiliate of the NWA, and it's probably easier to say who didn't come through championship wrestling in Florida than there is to say who didn't. I mean, it was everybody. Dusty Rhodes, of course, was probably one of the biggest names to ever come out of Florida. Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda, Bruiser Brody was here, the Road Warriors, Rowdy Piper. Of course, the voice of championship wrestling from Florida was Gordon Soley. That's why every once in a while I'll do this along from the Sunshine State. That's Gordon Soley. I mean, his voice is synonymous with wrestling down here. Kevin Sullivan and the Army of Darkness. I mean, they were fantastic. Kevin Sullivan, Bob Roop, Mark Lewin, Luna Vachon, Nancy Sullivan, a woman, went on to be Nancy Benoit. Well, we know how that ended. She was great. Yeah, just so many names, so many people came through Florida. But yeah, they're apparently they're setting the entire block up. It got bought out by some firm, and they want to demolish all the buildings there and put up apartments because, of course, they do. So it kind of sucks. I mean, I don't know if there's a historical society here in Tampa that they might designate it a historical area. Excuse me, I kind of figured that they did something with Morrisound Studios, and as much as I love Morrisound and the history and the metal and all that, the the Sportatorium has a lot more history going on. But chances are they're probably commerce will win out, and they'll just demolish the building because they probably figure at this point, what else are you going to do? I think Mike Graham, which was Eddie Graham's son, he told his daughter one time, when the termites in the building stop holding hands, then the building's going to collapse. So who knows? But yeah, if it gets demolished, then that'll be the end of an era, and it sucks. I mean, it'd be similar to uh, like guys like Revic and a couple other people who are familiar with Texas wrestling and the history of it, when they got rid of the Sportatorium there, and all the history from world class championship wrestling, the Von Erichs, the Freebirds, again, Bruiser Brody, Missing Link, the Skandar Akbar, Devastation Incorporated, Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez, all those guys, all the old school wrestling, that just hasn't been replicated to this day. But anyhow, I'm kind of babbling. You probably didn't come here for wrestling talk, but yeah, I just figured I'd add that. And then I picked up a couple things this past week. I'm going to show a lot of it off and bore you. Some of which I will say. I went to it's called PM Star Promotions, and I picked up a bunch of Go Horse stuff. That's why you probably see the banner in the background. I've had my eye on that for a while, so I finally just pulled the trigger and got it. Picked up a new shirt. I had a similar shirt, but in a smaller size, so now I'm just going to cut the sleeves off, use it for workout stuff. And then now I have one that's a little bit more comfortable. Even my church going outfit. A patch, another shirt. I'll wear that eventually. And then I picked this up. This is Ritual Killer, and it was signed by Sammy Dewey. And being the fanboy of anything New Orleans, sludge, death, doom, stoner, black metal, whatever it is that comes out of New Orleans, then I was stoked about getting that. And it's really cool. It's very fast, caustic, aggressive black metal. So if you never heard that one, pick it up. It's pretty cool. But again, it was kind of cool because he had signed it. So that, I was like, okay, I'll pick that up. Picked up a couple records, which I'll show them eventually. But yeah, that for the most part, the reason that I am even here is because I wanted to talk about a CD that I picked up from Anthony at the Metal Miners channel. You all know Anthony. He's a cool dude, very knowledgeable, has a lot of good taste in metal. He put a community post up on his community on his YouTube channel, Metal Miners, and he had copies of this album for this German band, Daisy Cutter. The death metal. This is their first album. They've been around since 2014. They put it out independently. Uh, it's 9 tracks, 38 minutes. Overall, I would say it's if you're a fan of the Swedish OSDM stuff in the vein of Entombed or Dismember, you'll like a lot of that. There's lots of galloping riffs and double timey drums. Actually, a couple of songs on there they reminded me of the song by Divine Eve, if you're familiar with that band. It's Velvet of the. I had it earlier. All right, Velvet of the something or other. God damn it! Here, I'm gonna look. I actually have the tape sitting right here. I had to pull it out of the dustbin to look. Velvet of the Godless. That's the name of it. But I heard that on the Death is Just the Beginning Volume 3 compilation, and it just, for whatever reason, the drums on it reminded me a couple of the songs on here. Daisy Cutter and Deadeye are two of the songs. They have a lot of those double timey kick drums on there and rhythms and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, very deep, throaty vocals, death metal. I'll be honest, it didn't reinvent the wheel or anything like that. For a lot of people, it's probably something that some some of the older heads or some of the like I don't know like diehards or real like kind of like hardliners will say it's you don't really need anything like this. You've heard it 1,000 times, but it's cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy anything that's got that old school Entombed Dismember sound to it. As far as let me actually before I talk about the songs, I'll talk about the band. The band is Kristen Growing, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and her husband Thorsten. She writes all the lyrics. A lot of the lyrics, lyrically, it's a lot about warfare and the horrors of war, things like that. I mean, of course, the band named Daisy Cutter, which is it's a missile that they use in Vietnam and they use it in the Gulf War. Then they used it in Afghanistan until they eventually retired that and they started using the Moab. Uh, Full disclosure, I wasn't in the military. I just learned stuff like this over the years. But Florian Herrer, he does bass and vocals. Thorsten, he does guitar, vocals. He wrote all the music on it. Manuel Meisner, he does guitars, and then I had to look on Metal Archives because they don't give a lot. They don't give a bunch of the band's last names, so I had to look up the last names to give them proper credit. And Peter Thaler, I think his name was, they credit on there with doing the drums on the album, but on the album itself, on the liner notes, they credit Lucas Heidinger. Hopefully, I said that correctly. The artwork is done by a guy named Dimit Basset. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, my apologies. Yeah, very cool. Here, I'll even show you the inside real quick. Then that's the album. That's the liner notes. Da, da, da. You see the band here. Here, I'll pull this out real quick, and you get to see the band. That's the band right there. Kind of. There's the front, the back. It's the band again. I'm gonna get a better look at them. That way, I don't have to go through all the effort of putting up. And it's just all the lyrics and stuff like that, which is nice. Lots of war themes again. Yeah, as far as my favorite songs on the album, I would say "Here I Die" and "Dead Man's Trail." Those are probably the best ones. Like I say, "Dead Eye" and the title track, "Daisy Cutter." They're both honorable mentions. The whole album's good, but the ones that really stood out were "Dead Man's Trail" and "Here I Die." "Here I Die" has this. Probably the best part of it is there's this real chuggy riff that over top of it they do a guitar melody over top of that, and then that leads into a twin guitar harmony, which is really cool, very well done. I really enjoyed that. And Dead Man's Trail, that's a good song, but the best part about it was they have a lead on it. I don't know which Thorsten or Manuel who gets credited with the lead on it, but very tasteful, very soulful, and almost bluesy. It's just very well done, very well crafted. I enjoyed that. I told Anthony, I texted him. I said, "Yeah, I love it. You know, the HM2 chainsaw guitar tone. You know, you can't go wrong with that." And I mentioned the two songs. I told him what I thought about those. And I mean, this thing fueled my workout yesterday. Between that and C4, I was ripping and running with the workout, and a little bit of me was feeling it today. But you know, these things happen. But yeah, if I know Anthony said I saw a video of his earlier today. He said he's got 6 more copies of this thing. So if you're interested, go pick it up. It's good. I would give it a 3.5 on the stank face meter. It's very cool. Again, they didn't reinvent the wheel with this album, but it's still cool nonetheless. Uh, yeah, it's good. And that's what I got for you. So until the next video, I hope everyone has a good one. Have a good weekend. Everybody take it easy. Stay safe out there. Stay cool because it's a scorcher out there. And I'll catch you on the next one. Later.